here. Today we are going to do something really fun. So I am always looking for little projects that I can do with Dollar Tree items. And I know this is something I haven't shown you before. And it is that time of year where everybody likes to have lanterns and decorate their lanterns. So I'm going to show you how to make a lantern out of picture frames from the Dollar Tree. So you're going to need about 5 or 6 of the frames. Okay, and what I like to do, I've already taken one apart, and I'll show you how I did that in a little bit. But what I like to do is I like to take one apart, and I'm going to use this bottom piece here in order to set the base. So what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these, we're going to open them up, like this, and just take that out, okay? For right now, I'm just going to put that down, okay, to keep the glass in place. Okay, so you definitely need to take these pieces out. Okay. There's Carson's goldfish. Okay. I'm going to do 4 of them. Okay. Okay. I just want to give you an idea of what we're going to do. We are going to glue these onto here. So you see, you're going to glue it like this. Okay, and we're going to glue all the sides on. And we're going to form a lantern. Alright, so we don't want to be able to see these little pieces in the back. So, my hot glue is ready now. Okay, what you can do is run a small bead of hot glue right along the inside rim. Let me kind of pan in a little here. There we go. Just run hot glue. You don't want a lot because you don't want it to come through. Okay? But what you're going to do is you're going to glue that glass in so it's not going to come loose. Okay? You don't need a ton. You don't want a ton. You just need to get a little in that little crevice. Okay? Make sure all of these are back so they don't hamper you getting your glass in. You want to be very careful when you're putting this glass in. Okay, gently push it down. There we go. Alright. If you see any glue pieces on this side, you can just run a hairdryer over it on low setting and get those strings off. Once it's glued on there nicely, you can clip these off. Let's see if I can get them off here. Just be careful you don't tear up the frame. It's very easy. It is a little bit on the plastic side. Okay, so to just carefully pry it out of there. Okay. Okay. If you can't get it out, just push it back. If it looks like it's going to give you any trouble, just push it back and leave it there. Okay? Okay, we've gotten one done. I'm going to do the other four the exact same way. Okay, so I'm not going to make you watch that. But I'm going to get those done, and then we will move on to the next piece. Okay? Okay, so I have them all glued. I'm going to glue these pieces together first. I just find it a little bit easier if I can get some of these sides together first. So I'm going to glue down this side here. I'm going to put a pretty good amount of glue. Now these are square, so I don't really have to pay a lot of attention to how I have it. Okay, and I'm going to glue it side to side like that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to let that sit for a minute. All right, then I'm going to do the next one. All right. So I'm going to put the glue right here on the side. Now we are going to put something in the edge to kind of cover up where we glued it together. Okay. Make sure you have it facing outside and you're gluing it edge to edge. Okay. So you're gluing one outside to one inside. And you do want to make sure you hold it for a few seconds to make sure it's gluing on there. Okay. Alright. So now we'll do the last one. Now this last one, of course, we're going to have to glue two sides. So we're going to glue this side. And you want a decent amount of glue in there, because you don't want it to come apart later. You wouldn't want it to fall apart later. Alright, so what you're doing is you're gluing it to this inside piece. Okay? So you see I'm gluing the outside edge to the inside piece. Okay? There we go. Just want to make sure it's pretty even all the way around. Here we go. So press on it, but don't hurt your glass, because this is thin glass, it will break. Alright, have this piece put together. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the bottom done. So I just like to use the cardboard that's left over, and I will piece it together because it's not going to matter. Okay, so you can just use a Sharpie. Let's see. Okay. go. Alright, so right here. So I'm going to cut it off there. Now you can get a fresh piece of cardboard and you can measure it and do all that lovely stuff. I just find this a little bit easier. Okay. Alright. So now let's see what we need on the side. Okay. That right there. I just find it easier if I just fold it over and then I can just trim it. Alright, so the way we're going to have all these pieces together is we are going to use our felt. Now there's lots of things that you can use. I like to use felt. You don't have to use felt. You can use foam board. And sometimes you can find foam board at the Dollar Tree. Sometimes you can find a frame. I mean, sometimes you can find an actual little Christmas sign that will work. I've done that before. Alright, so what I do is I take my pieces, okay, and I put them together. Okay. Alright. Okay. I know I've got it all pieced together, but it's going to work out just fine. Alright, then what I do is I take that whole thing, once I have all my pieces, I'm going to put it on top of my felt. Whoop. And I'm going to trace it out. Doesn't have to be perfection. It's okay if it overlaps a little bit. You don't want it to be very short. Overlapping is okay though. So, okay. There we go. Now, cut this out. Alright, so before I start gluing everything down, I'm going to make sure that this fits. Okay, yes it does. It does overlap a tiny bit. Okay, this side overlaps a little bit more than I would like, so I'm going to trim that one off a little bit. So I'm going to trim this edge off a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Alright, I'm just going to straighten it out a little. There we go. Now I can glue it on, put glue on my cardboard. I want to get a good amount on there. Okay, and I'm just going to glue it down. Okay, glue this piece down. Remember to glue it straight pieces so that it's on there nice. And don't worry, we can trim it all up once we get it on here. And we ensure that it fits again. Okay, and then we can make any trimming that we need to. Okay, all right. There we go. All right, I think this is the last piece, yes. So one of the reasons I like to use this cardboard is because it's thick and stiff, but it's not so thick and stiff that it would be hard to cut with scissors. So once again, I place it on just like this. Okay, and then I'm going to mark any areas that I need to trim. Okay. Alright, I think I just need to trim this here. I would rather have it be slightly over than not far enough. It's much harder to fix it if it's not far enough. Okay. Oh. Okay, there we go. Alright. Now, before I glue it down, I'm going to take this, also came from the Dollar Tree, and this is the glitter drape. And so my plan is to put a little village inside. So you can see I bought these little things, and we're going to use that. So this will be our snow. Okay. So I'm just going to pull it out. I want to have it folded over about 4 thickness. So I will, let's see, we'll pull it out like that. I'm going to run some glue on it. I tell you, it's a fun project, but it goes through the glue. Okay. Alright. So, right along the edge. There we go. Okay. Alright, and then I'm going to trim that off. Right. It just makes it a little bit easier to me if I go ahead and glue this on now. Okay. Alright. Now, here comes the interesting part. So what I like to do is I like to pull it back a little bit. I'm going to run glue up here on the top. Okay. And I'm going to, let's go ahead and do 3 edges. Okay. So this is a mixture of plastic and wood, and it does seem to work very well with the hot glue. So I just kind of pull the edges back just like this, okay, and then I'm going to slide it into place, glue it down. Okay, let me get this final edge. just pull that edge back a little bit. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right. Now we have the basic frame. So when we flip it over, we can just kind of push that back down in place. And now you can see we have our little snow edge. Okay? Now if you can see anything on the outside, the best thing to do is to take an X-Acto knife and just cut it away. You can also use your scissors. There's definitely a possibility you might have a little over edge, and that's okay. That's fine. You'll be able to get it off, and then you'll have a nice clean edge. Okay? And just check to make sure there's no places that you need to re-glue. Okay? All right. Now, let's talk about the top. Okay. So we have the basic box done. Now, of course, you can pick different sizes than I did. I'm not even really sure what size this is. Let's see. This is a 10 by 10 frame. This is a 10 by 10. Now they have other sizes. You can do one like this. This is a, what, 11 by 7. Okay. So I got extra pieces, and what I got them for is the top. Alright, so I've taken one apart, and all you do is take your frame. You're going to open it back up like you did before. Okay. I'm going to take all of the pieces out. Okay. I'm going to pull these pieces out as gently as I can. Okay. They usually come out pretty well if you just gently pull them back and forth. Okay. Okay, so the next step is to take the frame apart. Now, I like to use the longer frame that I showed you, and what I do is I take a piece that I've cut and I measure out how long it needs to be. Okay, so I'll hold it like this, and I will mark it with my pen, like that, and I will measure it out. So I need 8 inches. Okay, so this is the long frame, right? So what I did is I kept one corner just like it was. Okay, and I'm going to take this piece off because I don't need it. So this is the short piece. Alright, so you can see, okay, that the short piece fits. Alright, so all I really have to do is put the short piece on, take my pen, mark where that one needs to be cut. You see how it marked right there. And then what I do so I don't get messed up is I place another piece so I figure out how I need to cut it. okay? So it needs to be cut like that. So now I just take my wire cutters, because this is plastic, it cuts pretty easily, and I just trim it off, just like that. And then I have my piece, okay? So I need 2 frames in order to do this. Alright, and then I just make sure it's going to fit. If I need to trim a little bit more, I'll just trim a little bit more off. Okay. I can always trim these little edges off. Alright. So see, that's perfect. Okay. Alright, just like that. 3/4. And then I will just take, so those are 2 I've cut. Then I will just take an extra piece and I will run it across the top. Alright. Now this is a rather this is a rather large one. So let's see. This is perfect here. Alright, so I'm gonna run some glue on it. Right there. And right there. Alright. Then I'm gonna place it down. And I'm gonna hold it there because I want to make sure it's gonna glue properly. Alright. Let's check this side. Okay, this one's gonna have to be trimmed a little bit. Okay. Let's see if that does it. Okay, that's better. Just a little bit more. Okay. Let's see. Better. So this is just kind of trimming a little bit, and then it should fit on there perfectly. There we go. Alright, so now I will glue it down this one. And you can decide how you want your lantern to look. Okay, so you can do just these 2. Alright, so let's hold it down. Whoop. Alright, and you could just run a piece through the middle, and that could be it. Or you could put 2 more on these edges. I'll show you. Like this. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put 1 in the middle, and then we're going to be done. Alright, so I need it to be squared off. Alright. Let's see if this is going to be long enough. Yeah. This is the one that has a mark on it. Okay, we'll get another piece. Here we go. Alright. So, right here. Let's see. Actually, I think now this middle piece is also going to help keep them up as well. Okay. Alright, now we can get this middle piece in. So just glue it. Glue it. There we go. Now we're going to put stuff over this, so I'm not too worried about exactly how it looks. There we go. We have our lantern made. So remember, when you are doing these corners here, you're going to have to cut at an angle. So the best way is to just take one of your pieces you took off and see what angle, and mark the angle so that you can then go back and cut it at that correct angle. Otherwise, you're going to be very frustrated. It just fits too much better together if it's cut at that angle. Alright, now I have this part together. I'm just going to place some things inside. Alright, so I just thought it would be really cute if I had a little village in here. Like this. I even picked out some little miniatures. Okay, so I have little miniatures to put in here. And once I'm sure I have them exactly where I want them, then I'll glue them down. But I just think that's adorable. Okay, you could also put some cotton balls around to make it look more like snow. But now, let's decorate the top. I wanted to show you one other way that you can do this. So one way I didn't show you is you can have 4 pieces coming to the center like this. Okay, and you can have one that just comes straight up to the center, and that looks awesome. I just like this because, I don't know, it's just a little bit different looking to me, and I just kind of like it. But that's up to you. You can do it either way. Either way works. So I have a ton of ribbons, and I have these cute little poinsettias. But what I wanted to show you was, I picked these up from the Dollar Tree. They're just little diamond wrap. Okay, and what you can do is you can use this like it is a detail on your piece. And so what you can do is you take this and you glue it right here where the edges are to cover up where our little edge is. Okay? So you just do it, you could just do it right in the front where that one piece is. So you just measure it out. So it's probably about 10 inches. It is 9 inches. So I'll just cut one at 9 inches. Okay. Alright, there we go. So see, what you do is you just glue it right where that seam is. Okay, and that just covers it right up. Gives it a little extra bling. Okay. Alright, so then I can take this piece and cut 4 more. Okay. Now you could also do the silver, which looks more like diamonds. But I think this really matches this closest. Alright. So, you have enough to probably do 2 of them. Maybe not quite. But I'd say pretty close. Now, of course, the one I made is pretty large. But we have a large table, so it works for us. Alright, there are lots of little things you can get. So you could take bells and put the bells here, one on each side. I really like that. See, isn't that cute? And what that does is that kind of covers up the fact that there's no glass there. We could put these here. Okay. But what we're going to do is we're going to make a bow. I also have this cute little snowman we could place in here if we wanted to. I didn't know if he would be too big or not. Let's see. Let's move these little people. I think he kind of looks cute. See there? Alright. So let's start off by making a bow. Okay? And I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Alright, so while my glue is heating up, oops. Okay, so we're going to give our glue just a minute to heat up. Okay, and in the meantime, we're going to make a bow. So I'm going to be using the Easy Bow Maker. Okay. I really like to use this one. I find it to be very easy to deal with. And so I thought I would show you. Now you can get these, you can actually get these right now at Hobby Lobby for about $5. They're in the Christmas section. It's called the Deluxe Easy Bow Maker. And it's very simple to use. Alright. So it has a little spool where you can load your ribbon on. Okay. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to make the tails. Let's see, let's do 12 inches. We're going to do 12 inches. Okay. So I'm going to place that down. Now when I place it down in the bow maker, I have to grab it and flip it over so that I can get the nice side of the ribbon up on top. Alright? So we're going to do, let's see. Alright, I'm just going to use this to determine. That's pretty large. Alright, we're going to start with 8-inch loops. Okay? Alright. So I twist it again, got back to the center. Alright. Here we go. So I have one full. I have one full one right now. Alright. Let's do another loop with this one. Okay. Alright. Looks like my glue gun's ready. Okay, so I just did 2 8, and that looks like about as much as we can do. Okay? So now I will trim this off, and I'm going to trim it off a little bit longer than the first one. Alright, I want to show you this real quick since my glue gun is hot now. So you just take it, you just run some glue on it, like that. Then you just very carefully, without burning yourself, place it right along where your seam is. There we go. There. Just like that. If you have a place that doesn't glue, just pop some glue in there. Be very careful. It'll come right through those little pieces because it's not really glued down. You can also got a lot of glue strings. You can also take a piece of this and run it at the bottom if you'd like to tie it in. See, like that. Okay. It just depends on what you want it to look like. Okay. So we'll just let that sit for a little bit. Okay, and we'll keep working on our bow. Alright, so let's do this one next. So you can see with these, you can get about 2 large loops from these. Alright. I like this one, it has big sparkles. So, I'm going to make this 8 inches as well. I'm only going to do one of that one, because then we're going to make our loops smaller. Okay? Alright. So I got one of this. This is really pretty. It makes a mess, but it's pretty. Alright. Let's go on to the next one. Let's do this one. Alright. Now I'm going to do 7-inch loops. So I'm going to put this on. I'm not really measuring exactly how long it is. I just want it to be at least that length or longer. Right. I'm going to go to the 7. Put it through. Make sure I'm at the 7. Yes. It's one of the reasons I really like this bow maker, is that it has the measurements on it. So it's very easy to make sure that your loops are even. Alright, so I'm going to do 2 with this. So twist it. I can use the other one to make sure I have the right length. Okay, center, twist. Okay, here we go. Pull it out, trim it off. Alright, so we have 2 with this one. Alright, we're going to do 1 with this one. Okay. This is going to be a large bow because we have a very large part at the top to cover. Alright, so I'm just going to measure it to these 2. Okay, there we go. And you can go ahead and start pulling your loops out. Okay, so see, this one will go in between those 2, that one in between those 2. Okay, make sure you're twisting it so that you can get that pretty side up and that you're matching the lengths. Okay, then you can pull it out, trim it off. Now, it is totally fine if your tails are not exactly the same, because that actually will be fine. Right, now we are going to do 6-inch loops. Okay, so right in here. Alright, twist it. I'm going to move these aside a little bit so I can make sure I'm at the 6. Yep, okay. Just twist it right in the center. See, you can just move these aside, it's not going to hurt them. Let me zoom in a little bit. So see, you're just moving it aside, finding that mark, putting it through just like that, okay? And then twist it like that. Make another loop the same size. See, I can just use the two together. Okay. Twist it. Okay. Make sure they're the same size. Yep. And then pull this out front. We will trim off these tails, so don't worry about it. We will also move the bow around before we get it completely out. But I have one more white I want to use. So we have this one. Okay. So this one has little poinsettias on it. Super cute. So this is going to be our third loop with the white and red. So we're just matching the size of the two loops that are right there. So one, twist it. Now I want to go in between those two. Okay? So you can just stick your hand in, make sure they're the same size, and then trim it off. Okay? Alright. So now we have 3, 8, 3, 7, 3, 6, and we're going to finish it off with these really cool ones. You see that? Isn't that cool? We're going to pop in a little green here. So I'm just going to pull it down here. This one is going to be 5 inches. So just move it aside, get to the 5. You can also just kind of measure and see where about 5 inches would be, right there. Alright, we're only going to do 2 with this one. This is really the same on both sides, so you don't really have to twist it if you don't want to. Okay. Let's make sure they're the same. Alright. I like this, it's very airy. Okay. Alright. So there was very little of that left. And let's see. Let's do this one as the last one. Kind of pulls all the colors together. Okay. Well, let's see if we have enough of it. Nope, we don't. Okay. So we won't be using that one. Let's see. Do we have enough of this one? Not sure. Looks like we might have enough. Okay, let's see if that works. I want it to be about the size those are. There we go. Alright. Just enough. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a zip tie. Now I'm going to slide it underneath here, and I like to just kind of start my zip tie going, okay? So I do that so that I won't accidentally pull these apart, okay? So I can pull it up. You can see where that zip tie needs to go, okay? I will start to make it tighter. Alright. Then, oh, I'm going to take a pipe cleaner, a red glitter one that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to slide it under that zip tie. You want to make sure you do that before you completely tie off this zip tie. Okay? I'm going to start to make it a little tighter, and then I'm going to pull some of these out. Okay? So this was our first loops right there. So, alright, and that was our third. Okay, so pull that. Alright, those three. Okay. Okay. Ooh, isn't that fun, that little, like, ethereal green. I really like that. The other loop kind of fell down there, but there we go. Alright. So I kind of have it about where I want it. So now I am going to take this. I am going to tighten that sucker until I can't get it any tighter. Okay? And I'll clip it off. Alright. So now we have a nice big bow. So when we put it on here, you see that? It is really going to make a huge impact on our lantern. You see that? Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so we have our cute little bells on the side. Alright, we have our bow on the top. We're going to put some of the tails over here and some of the tails over here. But before we do that, okay, and now we made a gigantic bow because I wanted to cover up some of this up here. Alright, but I do like these little bells. I think they just add a little cute something. And this is the part where you get to go wild and create whatever you like, because everyone is different. With the bow, you have a couple of options. So to cover up where that zip tie is, you can take a pipe cleaner and fold it over, and you can just tie right around where that is. Okay, and that will cover it. You can also do it with ribbon. Okay, you can do it with a little ornament some kind. You can just do whatever you like. Okay, but I wanted to show you that you don't always have to do ribbon. Now I bought these from the Dollar Tree as well. So these are cute little picks. Okay, and what we can do is take these, right, take the little tags off here, and these are adorable. And one little trick that you can do when you're doing something like a lantern swag is you take two and you put them like this. Okay, let's see if the bow fits well in there. Yes, it does. Okay, all right, and you can take others and add it to it to make it look even longer. So I have several pieces here, you see? So we'll get the tags off of these. Alright, now what I like to do is take my two main pieces, I'll pull them out a little bit, okay, I'll spread everything out a little, and I'm going to take these two, and I will start with zip tying, and really, I think I'll use some of my black ones because they're a little bit easier to disguise. So I will zip tie these two together. Alright, and then I'm going to figure out what I want to go in back of these. So this needs to come around front, like that. So all I'm really trying to do is give it a little fullness. Okay, so we'll kind of nestle it in there. Okay, so what you can do when it's a little too high up, you can get out some of your floral tape. I always suggest that you have it in multiple colors. Brown and green absolutely are necessary. Take your zip tie, tie it on, and try to tie it in a spot that will help keep it secure. All right. And then I will take my brown floral tape and I will cover that up. So you're not going to see that. You see why this tape is so handy? Because it's really going to blend in because they're already wrapped in the brown. Okay? So that's what I do. Like that. Alright. It'll help keep them secure and it will cover where you are tying. Alright, there we go. And it does adhere to itself. Now I get these little black ones from Walmart, but you can get nice small ones from the Dollar Tree as well. Okay? So, I'm going to take another one. Let's match the one that was on the other side. Okay? Spread everything out. Alright, let's see, where did we put it? About right in here. Maybe down a little bit. There we go. Okay. I used up all my black ones? Yes, I did. Oh, there it is. Alright, so I'm going to zip tie it together. I do like to do this because then you don't have to worry about it coming loose later. Okay. Then trim this off. Then I'll pull some of this out. Then I'm going to cover that up with that brown. There we go. Okay. There we go. So far we already have a really great one. Okay. So if we want to make it even longer, we can strap this in. Yeah, kind of like that. All right, so we'll pull this one out like this. Okay, and I'm going to strap this in right in here. Okay. Pull out some of our tape. And cover it up. A little bit more challenging when it's in here, but you can do it. See? There we go. There we go. Alright. So now you can see how nice and long we've made it. Alright, so let's put one more on the other side. Okay. So you can also no, I think that's good. Okay. Just checking to make sure everything's still fitting over there. Alright. We want that apple to go in the front. Okay. I'm going to hide it right under that leaf. Okay. You just have to find a good spot. Just kind of move things aside. Strap it down. There we go. I'm going to cover this part, and I'm going to cover that top part. But just want to make sure it is all secure. Right there is where I'm going to put my bow. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to cover this one up. Okay. There we go. Now, what we can do is we can decide how we want this to go, which I think we'll do it like this. Yes, I like that. All right. So I'm going to bend this part here downward because I kind of want it to drape over like that. Okay. So we're going to take our bow here. We're going to tie it right here in the center. Okay. Alright, and we're going to go here. remember, we're going to move these little ribbons around, these little tails. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to tie it to the top. Okay, there we go. Alright, now we can take our bow and we can take these tails and we can start moving them around. So just kind of move them over to the side. Okay, so we have kind of some dripping down. We can take these really long ones and we can roll them up. This. That's a lot longer than we need, but we can cut that off. Here we go. Alright. So you see on this side, we can kind of bend this up a little bit, but we can. I'm going to hide this little tie and I'm going to zip tie this down as well. And then we're going to cover it up with the bow. I just want to make sure this isn't going to come off. I can kind of move that up a little. Alright. And then we can move our bow around. Okay, move more over to the side. It's sticking to me. I love to roll these up. So you can just roll them up. Okay, move them over to the side. Alright. You can also move some to the side and to the back. Alright. So we really don't want to cover up this cute little piece we have in the front. So we kind of want to move some of the tails. These go over here. Alright. Okay. I think we will strap that down one more time. Okay. So this is a little different than doing it on a regular lantern because this is not quite as sturdy. So you just have to take a little extra precautions, but it's not a problem. So what I'll do is I will take this one. I don't like the way that looks. So I'm just going to trim that off. And then we'll see if I can roll it up. I'll roll it up and just kind of place it right there. Alright. Let's trim this off. Alright, we can roll this one up. Alright, we can roll these up. Okay. We can also dovetail them. Just kind of leave them. Let's work on this bow for a second. Right. Trim that off. Curl it under. Okay. Okay, I'll dovetail that one. Okay. You just have to work with the bow to get these tails moved around. Okay, and get the bow pulled out. kind of fluff it up. Okay. I don't like that one. Okay. Just going to make that a very short one. Okay. Okay. This I'm just going to trim off because you can't really curl those up. Okay. Just move this around a little bit. All right. Okay, so what you don't want is for it to completely cover up the cute little scene we have inside. So you just want to work with it and curl it up. Fluff out that bow. Right. So see, this covers up a majority of the fact that that is empty and it doesn't have any glass in the top. There we go. Okay. There we go. Alright. Okay, so we still have plenty of viewing area. We have our bow fluffed out. We have all of our mechanics covered. See, and you can still see what's in our little village. Okay, and then we can also put a little bell right here on this side, right here. I kind of like that. So I could just take a little zip tie and run it up through here where you can't see it. And tie that on. Here we go. We're just kind of hiding it under the leaves. There we go. So see there, we got our little bells. Okay. And so this just is whatever you want to do with your imagination. Okay, it's just the general idea of how you can take things from the Dollar Tree and make it into a cute little, so this could go on your table, this can go, I wouldn't put it outside, but it can go on your table as a centerpiece. It could be just on a coffee table. You could put it on the ground near your fireplace or near your Christmas tree. Any of those places would be fine. Okay, so there we go. See, that hides our little mechanics, makes it look nice and cute. So there it is from that side, and from this side, and you can take these and kind of move them up, give it a little bit more volume. But you see, I like how it does this little curving in. All right. Okay. I think that's it. I think it turned out adorable. I love it. So you have to tell me what you thought, and you have to tell me if you try this out, because it is a lot of fun to make. And remember, they have different sizes, and if you don't want to do the square like I did, then you can do it up to a point. I have blue strings. All right. Well, I really enjoyed this. I think it's fun. And I will see y'all again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful holiday and Merry Christmas.